Welcome into We Talk Ball. We are back after a week off. Old man over there to my right, or whatever way you're looking, right or left, uh, had the bad back.
Got no sound.
Oh no, he has no sound. We're off to a bang right now. Well, this is going lovely already.
What in the? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can
I
hear.
can't hear you at all.
I
Are you on mute?
uh, no, I'm not on mute. Mm-mm. This is what I love about live, guys. For some reason, StreamYard has given us some technical difficulties here lately, so we're going to try this. Let me call them. All right, yeah, we're having technical difficulties for some reason. Austin's going to exit out, and we're going to try to have him come in again and see what happens. We had that happen yesterday on our Chasing Omaha show. We had some technical difficulties last time. Can you hear me, Austin?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can't see you, but we can hear
Why?
you.
Why can't you see me?
Hold on. There we go. Can you hear me?
Now I can't hear you. What in the world?
Can you hear me? Do it again. Exit out, come back. All right, we're gonna try to get him to come in again. Yeah, gotta love live, man. Hope everybody's had a wonderful day, and I hope everything's going good. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We had this problem last night on Chasing Omaha.
Man, that is a rougher start than Georgia's game against Arkansas right now.
Man, what the?
Hey,
Why?
when you screw up like that, you got to come in swinging.
Yeah, I don't know. StreamYard's been acting up. We had this on Chasing Omaha. Our guest come on. Now we got it all figured out before we went live, and it happened to us. But
I guess we should have done that too. But no, it
yeah,
was weird. Like as soon as I could start hearing you, the video went out, but when the video came back, the sound went out.
I don't know. Hopefully, StreamYard will do an update soon. That's gonna have to get fixed because I hope when I add stuff to the screen, let's try this real quick. This is horrible podcasting, but because I'm deathly scared. Can you hear me?
See it. I can see it. I can hear you.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Can you hear me? Can you see it?
I can hear you. I can see you.
Okay. All right. Let's just get started. Let's just get started. This is not going to be a way to keep people on YouTube, but all right. So tonight we are ranking our top 25 coaches. It's a show we do every year. This will be our second time doing it. I don't know how Austin feels personally. This is my favorite show we do every year. I love it.
It is a fun show. I can say, you've been doing a top 25 coaches list, or at least a top 10 coaches list for years now. I feel like
probably like 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, even when you were a loser, just making it for fun, before we got on air. But this is the first year. So last year was my first year ever making one, and it was hard. And I cheated last year. I used a lot of other lists to help. This year, I really tried to just go down the list of coaches and make it myself, man. And it was hard, but it was also fun at the same time. It really makes you understand why there's so many arguments, because there's so many different things to take. One of the things I think I focused on a lot, and I'll say that, and then somebody else, so you'll be like, well, why didn't you put them there? But one of the things I focused on a lot was what a coach has done with what they have. right? Not just, obviously winning national championships helps move you up there, but I think that's what I used a lot to focus my list on.
Yeah, and that's I'm glad you answered that, or you said that, because that was going to lead into what my next thing was let's talk about how we ranked them, and you already mentioned yours, what our criteria and stuff for me, because I did a TikTok live 2 hours before our show, got a lot of engagement on it. Hopefully, some people joined us, but that's the question I got asked a lot on that TikTok live was, well, what was your criteria? And so for me personally, everybody has a different way of doing their rankings. I want to go ahead and straight off the rip. This is not a career achievement award. I really don't care what you did in 2017 or 2016. I just don't. And we'll get into a Dabo discussion later because that came up quite a bit on TikTok Live. If it was just career achievement, I would just put Bill Belichick number one. I mean, he's won 6 Super Bowls.
I almost texted you that the other day. Like,
yeah.
Put Belichick in the top, but yeah, you're
so
right.
For me personally, it's what I do is it's the last 5 years. I also look at the future somewhat. Try
where
to predict
where you're trending.
Yeah, where you're trending. That's the best way to say it. So for me, it's the last 5 years. It's what you've done. Less with more maybe. Now, also, I have this weird thing when I'm really close. We'll get into this when we get in our top 10. When I'm really close and two guys are like just neck and neck and I'm tied, I also kind of just go with a tiebreaker of like, hey, if we're having CFB Talk University and I'm the AD, who would I rather hire?
Yeah.
So we'll get into that later. All right, let's jump into it. Let's get yelled at. We got our boy Jamal here saying he's here and ready. Got a lot of questions. I sent him our list a couple of days ago, so he's been stewing on it. I haven't sent it to our guy Pops because our guy Pops, he's in the chat. I didn't want to get yelled at by him.
Yeah. I got one question for Jamal before we get started. Jamal, how was that college baseball series win this weekend?
You know what?
I'm talking to our fans out there, asking them about their teams. I feel like that's what you should do on a show. Do you not?
At least I could walk this week.
Shut up, man. I'm back up.
That was first question. Also, how we feeling? I know you've been carrying to the show and the back hurts just checking on you.
The back is not 100%, but I'm back upright. I'm sitting upright, and we're back swinging. So,
yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into it. All right. So, first thing we'll discuss. Let's talk about some guys that I left off. That's on your list. You left off. That's on my list. This kind of and we're not going to go line by line. We're going to skip some coaches. We're probably not going to talk. We're not going to talk about all of them, guys. We're going to try to do this in an hour. If we talked about every single coach, we'd be here for 2 hours. So let's talk about some guys that we both left off that we had. Let's start with I've noticed a trend with you. You're a Navy guy. We need to get you a Navy hoodie. It's been a trend with you.
I would
Ryan Newberry at 19.
I would love a Navy hoodie, and I love our troops. And I don't know, man. You take Navy to back-to-back double-digit winning seasons, and they're right there. I think even this, they had that great year in 24, and we kind of picked them to kind of be. I think I had them in at 25 in the preseason poll, and everybody else had them out last year, and then they turned around, with another great season. So for that, it was more. I love our military and support our troops, unlike you. Sorry, there's a lot of shots here. I tried to find a way to get Jeff Monken in there, but I couldn't do it. But no, look, that's what that was more of a based on what have you done for me lately? Back-to-back double-digit wins at the Naval Academy in an era of transfer portal when you're in a school that doesn't take transfer portals. Why not?
Yeah, no, I liked it. When I seen it, when you sent me your list, I was like, man, I felt like I could have had him in there. But for me, I just no, you made great points. I don't really have a rebuttal at all. Probably I would have him in that 25 to 30 range for myself. So, I thought it was a great addition. Sticking kind of in the group of six, I believe, I'm not going to fact check it. I believe him and the one I'm fixing to talk to about next is the only group of six coaches. I had Jason Eck, somebody you didn't have.
Yep.
To me, 35-17, New Mexico, winning at New Mexico is extremely hard. And that's not even taking into account what he did at Idaho in the FCS level, which is kind of a school that doesn't win a lot. I just want to file him under like those guys we talk about, kind of like a John Summerall and some other guys where or DeBoer or whatever. It's just a guy that he just wins. He just wins no matter what. I had him on there. Austin, what about somebody I had on there and I struggled very hard at number 22? And I don't think you had him on there because I wrote it down you didn't.
Yeah.
Joey McGuire. I struggled so hard. But Jamal, I want to say this. So I have Joey McGuire as the 22nd best coach. Austin doesn't have him on his list. And I probably know why, but we'll let Austin explain. I struggled with that one because I looked at his previous years before. Let's just be blunt. Before the sugar daddy bought his team, and it wasn't pretty. Like, I think the guy was kind of trending towards the hot seat, and then they went out and LA Dodgered it, and got to give them credit though because they won. There's a lot of teams that pay a lot for players and they don't win. That's kind of like what pushed it over the top. And then, like, I thought Jamal last night on his show, Athletes Forum podcast, every Wednesday on College Sports Crew, he brought up a really good point. If you go and look at a lot of the portal guys that they had brought in, particularly on defense, it wasn't like they were lighting it up at their previous schools. Like, their stats at Tech was a lot better at Tech than it was at their previous schools. And I think that speaks to development and coaching. But I did put them near the bottom. So
I don't know that I'm ready because I think I am still under that. They bought that because I agree they weren't lighting it up, but they did take a bunch of guys that were not in great systems and put them all together. And yes, they made a great system with it. So we'll get to the segment in a little bit. He's one of those guys that could work his way onto the list very, very soon, and honestly could work his way up the list.
Yeah, definitely. A guy I left off that you had on, Jedd Fisch at 20.
Listen here, I'm gonna be honest. I put Jedd Fisch on there just because I didn't want to hear your mouth, because you've been praising the guy for the last 2 years, and I knew he was going to be on yours. So I don't really have an explanation as to why I put it, other than I thought he would be on yours, and I didn't want to hear it.
We may get to an oversight on yours in a little while, and I want to admit that was probably an oversight on me. Also, I just want to say it's so damn hard ranking 25. You only have you think it's not enough spots, or it's too many spots.
Yeah.
And then you get to doing it, and you're like, I need more. Can we do top 30?
Yeah.
I have some out. Yeah,
I sent you a couple that I was like, oh, these almost made the list. That was just my way of saying, like, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a good coach. I mean, I wouldn't push back putting him on there. Another one, no, I think that was it, actually. Yeah. So let's go on to let's go ahead and discuss 15 through 25, and let's jump to the Dabo and Lincoln Riley. Let's lump them together. Yep. Dabo and Lincoln Riley. I got Riley at 20. You got Riley at 23, so not much of a difference. And I have Dabo as the 19th ranked coach, and you have Dabo as the 25th. Let's start with Dabo and Riley, and we'll go Dabo first.
You want my opinion on Dabo?
He's lucky he even made my list, if we're being frank.
He's lucky he made the list, and I'll tell you why.
He's the most pushback I got on Twitter, by the way. I mean, not on Twitter, on TikTok.
So after I made my list, I went and checked. I went and checked it against other lists out there and stuff like that, and I was surprised to see people still had him in the top 10. And for me, it was very much like you said, it was kind of a combination of what I said and what you said. how we made our list is A, what have you done for me lately? And B, what have you done with what you have? Well, while some of the guys up here we'll get to have done a lot with nothing. I mean, he has every opportunity in the world.
Yeah.
And it's his lack of I don't want to say ability, his lack of willingness to adapt to the new game that has got him left in the dust.
Yeah, that I was frustrated at that question on TikTok. I just I don't understand it. And I'm with you. I've checked a bunch of lists also. I also got on some podcasts and listened to some lists. And Dabo was routine. If he wasn't in the top 10, he was in the top 15. And I was shocked. And I think Pops asked a great question. What has Dabo done lately? And it's 9-4, 10-4, and 7-6 the last 3 years. And that don't yell top 10 coach. And I understand.
Not at Clemson, not at what he had built Clemson to be.
Yeah. And Jamal asked a good question. How much last season and preseason expectations affected the Dabo ranking?
A lot.
I think so, yeah. I try not to be too reactionary to 1 year, but it did play a factor because it was part of the last 5 years. And, yeah.
My pushback to that will be is how can you be a top 10 coach? And I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth because we'll talk about this too when we get into the top 10. But you can't be a top 10 coach and be on – I mean, I wouldn't even say he's on the hot seat. He's on the win or – I mean, he's on fire. You know what I mean? You can't be a top 10 coach and your job be on the line unless you're Kalen DeBoer.
We'll get to that later.
That's a different situation because I know that's going to come back at me. But you know what I mean.
No, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
No, and that's fine. But you just can't be in that situation and be called a top 10 coach.
No, and moving to Riley. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once with Twitter. Maybe Pops can help. I should text him. Well, Pops is in here. Pops, go share our live again because it's not letting me on Twitter. But yeah, moving to Riley. At least with Riley, he could shoot up this rankings like this year. We could see that. Like with Riley, we could see him easily. I'm not saying he will, but we could see him easily shoot up this thing with a playoff appearance and or a conference appearance, whatever. A playoff appearance. With Dabo, I don't see him shooting up. I don't. I see.
Well,
time next year, I think he's off the list.
So I hear people's pushback with Dabo, right, and what he has done. And okay, if you're using career statues for your list, then you have an argument to put him in the top 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Lincoln Riley, how his name got to where it was, he's done nothing as a head coach.
Yeah.
He was a hell of a coordinator.
Yeah.
He has truly done nothing special as a head coach.
Not really, other than he did good at Oklahoma.
He did all right.
I mean, he went to the playoffs, right? A couple of years. I'll push back a little bit. That Oklahoma was good. It was really good. It was really good.
All right.
Okay, well, let's answer Jamal's question. You need one coach for the College Sports Crew University to win big game. Who you got? Lincoln Riley, James Franklin, or Dabo Swinney? I'm going Lincoln Riley. Because with Lincoln, look, you're making me defend Lincoln, and I don't like him. With Lincoln, I'll take my shot with Lincoln because I know I'll get a crap ton of points. I'll just hope that it's a shootout, and then, and like Pops brought up, his quarterback development is elite. You got to give him that.
All right.
He developed Jalen Hurts, right? He's the only one that don't have to take shots. Oh, Grayson, got a random April Grayson. We appreciate you joining us. Do you think Florida State will be good? Grayson, we love you. We appreciate the sub. We appreciate you being here. No.
Yeah, go back and watch some of our shows when we did some of the conference postseason analysis and all. Believe the projection is Norvell's out by week 4 this year. Was our last analysis on that. So,
all right, let's have a would you have Kenny Dillingham? I'm disappointed in myself.
Yeah, you got him pretty low.
I got him 23.
And you know what? Here's what I'll say to this. After last year, that's a fair ranking. I think last year was a letdown year. I think last year just kind of got away from Arizona State. And I think it was one of those years where they didn't lose as much on paper as they thought they lost in the locker room and on the sideline, if that makes sense. So I truly look for them to turn that around this year and have a strong season. And I think Kenny will be working his way back up that list.
I do too, and I will admit full transparency that I think Kenny Dillingham as a 23rd best coach. I last year affected me a lot, and I should have him higher in my opinion because I'm a big Kenny Dillingham fan. Rhett Lashley. I had Rhett Lashley as the 18th ranked coach. You had him at 16th. I'm so happy we both had him here.
Dude, he deserves it, man.
He does.
What he's doing at SMU. I mean, I even last year. I mean, I think preseason. We talked about them, and you were way down on them and thought they were about to have that that come to Jesus season, and but put up another great season.
Yeah, I mean 11-3 the last 2 years. To me, he took them from the G6 to the ACC, and I know we all know how we feel about the ACC. I get it, but still, to go from G6 to any of the Power Four is a huge step up in a big way. Absolutely. And to have 2 11-win seasons, that also includes wins over number 10 Miami, number 17 Arizona, and he's 5-5 versus top 25 opponents. I think he's a phenomenal coach.
I do too.
And
you think he goes somewhere, gets a major job at some point?
I think SMU's a sleeping giant if they're I mean, Pops has talked about it on his show, Veterans Voice Sports Podcast on Mondays. Catch that on the College Sports Crew YouTube channel. But yeah, he's talked about that. I think SMU, if they've used their money because they're rich, could be a sleeping giant. I really do. But yeah, I maybe eventually probably. Yeah. I think he'll go to a bigger job.
Yeah.
Let's see, who do we have? Matt Campbell. You had him. Okay, yeah. We talked about my Kenny Dillingham and how low I had. I had Matt at 17. You had Matt at 24. Let's hear it.
I did. And it's funny is last year, I swear I had Matt Campbell on there and I got ridiculed by it, thinking it was a crazy wherever I had him. So I think I had that in mind a little bit. But I mean, we're about to find out what kind of coach he is. When you talk about doing what you can with what you have, I mean, to be competitive at Iowa State for, I mean, year in and year out, they were never, top dogs, but to even be competitive there year in, year out, I think speaks volumes. But now you're going somewhere where, 8 wins most years, slide in the 10 win season, makes you they're going to build a statue after you. And now the expectation is to compete at the highest level. So I'm excited to see where he goes.
Yeah, I don't remember. I meant to go back and watch our old show and write down my list from last year, and I completely forgot. And plus, I just didn't want to see the horrible production.
Yeah.
And the horrible. Our show used to. Quite frankly, it sucked. But since World War II, Iowa State has only had 15 seasons with a winning record in conference play. Campbell is responsible for 8 of those in the last 15 years. World War II was back when Austin was born, guys. So that was a long,
that was
long time ago.
That was back when Pops was born. Come on, man. That was before me.
So, yeah, I don't know. I do think he's a good coach. It's a complicated relationship I have with Matt Campbell. I thought he was perfect for Iowa State. I'm very curious to see how Penn State goes. If he's going to get into the muddy waters he didn't have to get into at Iowa State to achieve what he's doing. I like what I've heard so far. I like what I've heard so far. Let's do it. Jeff Brom.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
Let me say Jeff Brom first,
Yeah.
and then I'll let you talk about him. So Jeff Brom should have been on the list. Okay. We don't get paid for this show yet. So being that we don't, I work a full-time job. I have 4 kids. I got up at 5 a.m. one morning and made my list and worked on it before I had to go to work. So Jeff Brom should have been on the list. I think he's a phenomenal coach. I'm a little concerned, if I had to say, with how he's been this all in on the transfer portal. But he's still winning. With that being said, so he 100% should have been on the list. So if one of your questions for me was why is Jeff Brom not on your list, it's because I was sleepy and missed it.
Yeah. Go to his house for a weekend. It sounds like it's 20. We got a wild bunch there.
I don't think he was talking about the kids.
Oh, he wasn't? All right, so let's go to. All right, Jeff Brom. Yes, I had him ranked number 14, 94 and 56. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty amazing considering. And I'm not, Austin admitted, it was a miss. Just he missed it. It happens. I missed some on mine too. Quite a few actually. What he's done at Louisville and Purdue and. I mean, it's all been places. He reminds me so much of Kyle Whittingham. We always talked about, and Kyle's going to get that shot. We always talked about what would it look like if Kyle Whittingham would ever take a big job. And I feel that same way with Jeff Brom. I love that he's staying at Louisville. I love that he's staying at these small schools. But I would love to go see what he could do at a Michigan or a Penn State. I would have loved. I love Matt Campbell at Penn State, but I would have loved to see him at Penn State. Yeah. See kind of what he could have done with those resources. I think he's a phenomenal coach. Let's see if there's anybody else before we actually we'll do this and then we'll go to that discussion we talked about on the phone, John Summerall. Josh Heupel. I love that me and you. He's top 15 coach. But I have Josh Heupel ranked number 13. You have Josh Heupel ranked 15th.
Yeah, I think people underestimate. Are we far enough into the show that I can say stuff without? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're 30 minutes.
I think people underestimate what a shit show of a program Tennessee was when Josh Heupel got there.
There's a book. It's called The Decade of Dysfunction, and it is about Tennessee and the dysfunction they had for 10, 15 years.
Right. What he's done to just get that program back to where it is. I do want to see him take. Well, as a Bama fan, I don't want to see it, but I do want to see him take that next step because you can win at Tennessee. Tennessee's not a Ole Miss or Arkansas. You can win. You can win. The ceiling is national championship. At a Tennessee, and I'm not saying he's got to do that, but I just think he deserves to be right in there, just with. Not only what he's done. I mean, he's won some football games, made it to the playoffs.
No, I mean, I'm off right now. I listen, 73 and 28 over his career. 2 10-win seasons, 2 top 10 finishes. Don't sound like amazing, but last time the Vols finished top 10, 2001. Last 10-win season was 2007. Guys, that was when I graduated high school. Do you see all this gray? That was a long time ago. Pops brought up a good point. 8-5 and 4-4 in the SEC. I agree. Last year was bad. I do think Josh Heupel reached a ceiling. I think he has reached that. I don't think he can get them to a national championship, but I've been impressed with how he dug Tennessee out. He's made Tennessee, other than this year and one other year, he's 2 10-win seasons, like I said, 2 top 10 finishes. He's made them a little bit more consistent. He's pulled them out of that decade of dysfunction. He's made them, to me, a more attractive job if it opens. If he was to go kind of downslide and end up being let go, that he's made that job super attractive now. Because I think that's why they ended up having to hire guys like Dooley's kid, Derek Dooley, because Butch Jones, nobody would take the job because it just wasn't an attractive job. It was a mess. And now I think the options are going to be pretty good. I do think 13 is probably the highest I'll ever have them, and I do think we could see a backslide from Heupel. Yeah. But I think as of today, he's a top 15 coach, just in my opinion.
Agreed.
All right, who out of this top 15, and I know we got some guys that we're not talking about. If you see some names on here, don't worry. We're going to talk about them in the top 10 for a reason. Just bear with us. A coach out of this top 25, 11 through 25. 11 through 25. That you could see moving into the top 10 next year.
Can we cut Jamal's feed right now?
Yeah, I won't put his comments on the screen.
Okay, cool. Man, it's John Summerall.
It's John Summerall. God almighty, it's John Summerall.
Like, it hurts me putting him that low now. Like, I just want to put him like 1 or 2, but he doesn't deserve that yet.
I haven't got I do. God, dog it. We talked about this on the show. We talked about this not on the show, but on the phone. We both said it out loud, and you have no hatred towards the Gators.
No,
I do though. But we talked about it on the phone today, actually, this afternoon. How much we both despise, how much we like this guy.
Yeah. No, I mean he's obviously we know his coaching style from Tulane and things, but just the things he's saying. Just in a press conference and things like that, it's like, man, he's saying all the right things that honestly particularly Florida needs to hear. And he just feels like he look, Florida's hired a lot of coaches over the last 10, 12 years. Let's be honest. And there's been a couple that I'm like, you know what, this could be the guy that gets them back. And none of them have quite just been able to get over that hump. There's something holding it back. And it feels like Summerall is going to be that guy, or could be that guy, to get him over to that next step.
Yeah, I've said it on the show numerous times. And maybe somebody, I'm going to play not devil's advocate. I'm going to play like a guest, or not a guest, as a viewer. Somebody's probably going to be watching this later and go, what does that got to do with where you rank them, or why you got them there? Well, here you go. I thought, and I've said this on the show before, I thought the job he did at Tulane last year was one of the best coaching jobs in the country because of what they lost. And I've said this a million times. I'm just going to sound like a broken record with what they lost at quarterback, what they lost at running back, what they lost at receiver, all the portal that happened. They got raided. Then the quarterback he brought in, I think he didn't come in till the fall. He didn't even come in till the spring. So it was just like, and then they went and they won a conference championship against everybody's darling, North Texas, mine included. We were all high on North Texas. North Texas was going to beat the stew out of Tulane because Tulane's offense couldn't match North Texas. No, he beat them. He brought them in the mud. And it's not just off one year. What he did at Troy, he took Troy from 5-7 to 12-2 and 11-2. He made Troy one of our top G6 teams for 2 years. They were on the upswing. Then he went to Tulane, and we'll get into this conversation way later in the show, and maintained it. He took what Willie Fritz built and went 20-8. The dude just coaches. He just coaches good. And that's why he's up there. And that's why I agree with Austin, and I'm with him. He is a coach that I think could next year or maybe the year after be in our top 10 is Josh Heupel. I mean, John Summerall.
John Summerall.
John Summerall. That'll mess up the TikTok clip. Another one I had, and it's a guy I'm not a big fan of, and I've gotten I said I wouldn't put Jamal's on there, but I love the guy too much. So number one defensive regards to player production too from last season, currently on the roster. Yeah, tune in next week. We are actually going to get it. This will be a good time to take a quick break. Tune in next week because Jamal reminded me we're going to do our spring wrap up. We're going to go a bunch of teams, as many as we can, and wrap up the spring. I got some thoughts on Florida and the defense. So tune in next week to We Talk Ball. And Pops asked a good one. What happens if he does not meet expectations? How far does he fall? That's a good question because I'm not going to lie. I'm irresponsibly, is that a word? Irresponsible.
Yeah,
I'm irresponsibly too high on Florida right now. I feel like
hasn't crossed my mind that he won't meet expectations.
Mine either. Mine either. We have such high expectations for someone. I may drop the SOB out of the thing.
Yeah.
No, I'll give him a break on year one. I'm trying to temper the expectations. I'm trying, but we'll get into it next week because I've already worked notes and prepped for next week's show on Florida Gators and their spring game that just happened. And I've listened to a lot of Athletes Forum podcasts / another show he does, Talking Gators, and got some intel from our guy Jamal. So I feel like I got a good grasp on the Gators for this upcoming or for this spring. Another guy that I thought could shoot up that I'm not happy to admit because I think it's well known I'm not a big fan of his, James Franklin. I got him at 15. You had him at 13.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen. James Franklin's a good coach. Let me make that very clear. No, I'm not the biggest James Franklin guy. I agreed with Penn State. I thought he should be fired. I was fine with it. But I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna spend this time shitting on James Franklin. He's done a lot of good. He's a good coach. He's not. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's horrible. I do question some of the staff hires. We ranked coaches new hires a couple of months back, and I wasn't too high on the Virginia Tech hire because of what he did with his staff and stuff like that, and players he brought in. But it wouldn't shock me at all if he turns it around at Virginia Tech because he is a good coach.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm pulling for him, man. I've always had a little secret thing for Virginia Tech.
I
don't know if it's the entrance. That's one of the best atmospheres in college football. When they enter the stadium and music playing and light. I don't know. Anyhow, I've always had a little secret crush on Virginia Tech, so I'm pulling for him there, man. I hope he does well.
Let's do two more, and then we'll move on. Austin, yeah, preach Austin. Yeah, Pops and Jamal are big James Franklin guys. And look, I'm probably wrong about this, but anyway, let's do two more before we go to the top 10. Top 10. Man, I'm disappointed where I have Willie Fritz.
Yeah.
You have him at 12. I would still contend. I would still contend that's a little too high.
You could argue I have him too high.
I have him too low.
But and you have him too low. He's probably somewhere in there. I have a crush on Willie Fritz.
I do too.
But I will say, like, what I loved is when we looked at their schedule last year, you told me and an ex partner told us that I was crazy to think that Houston could win. I don't remember how many games I had picked at the time, and then he turned around. How many games they win last year? I'm sure you got it right there in front of you.
It was like 10
yeah,
games.
I think he took them, and it was not an easy schedule. And it was nice to say, hey, I think Willie Fritz is going to have him ready, and then damn if he didn't. So my confidence was a little high on Willie Fritz just because I think of what he did last season. I mean, that was a talk about taking over a bad team. I think
Tulane too.
Yeah. So yeah,
that place was a dumpster fire.
I have a coach's crush on Willie Fritz, so I do have him a little high, but I do think you got him a little low.
Yeah, we should have met in the middle on that. For when I clipped this, I had Willie Fritz as 24th ranked coach, and I regret every minute of it. Because I do think he should be higher. I think he should be higher than Ken. Well, Joey McGuire at least. I think both him and Kenny Dillingham should be higher. Particularly because Kenny went to the playoffs. One more. I'm trying to think if I wanted to save this for top 10. Looking at the notes. No, I don't think I said. Yeah. Mike Elko. I had him at 11. You had him at 14.
Yeah.
11th ranked coach. I almost put him in the top. The top.
10?
I almost did.
This. No, I don't even want to say that.
Well, listen. Let me say, I'm down on the Aggies for 2026, but Mike Elko long term, I'm all in on what he's doing at Texas A&M, because I mean, currently right now they have the number 1 recruiting class. They finished top 5, I believe, last year. They're getting buttloads of talent, and what he did at Duke after Cutliff, I can't even talk. Kind of ran it. You know, he was a legend, but it kind of got bad there at the end, and he did a phenomenal job 2 years there. Dude, the 2026 or the number 1 class right now, this could change. It's early in recruiting. 91% blue chips.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's a strong case for Mike Elko to be in the top 10 right now. Maybe not.
Yeah. I think, I guess I'll push back a little bit and say I need him to turn that into wins. I know the wins look great last year, but I think they benefited from a easy schedule. And then I don't think they're going to have that same outcome this year.
I don't either, but I think
I agree with you. Yeah. And if you talk about somebody who could shoot up, yeah, absolutely. I love Mike Elko. I just think I'm happy where I have him actually, with what he's done so far. But I do think his ceiling is much, much higher.
Yeah. Let's get to all right, here it is. Oh, we had Grayson back. Do you think Sellers will be good next year? And I thought Pop said, I feel like Kendall Balls will make him better. Yeah. And Jamal says depends on the O-line, to be honest, with Sellers. Yeah, it's all about the O-line for Sellers, guys. It's all about the offensive line for that guy. No, I think Sellers is going to be one of those guys that's going to do well in the NFL, and we're going to wonder what happened. Here we go. The top 10. This is me and Austin's top 10 rankings. I wish I would have fixed it because people are going to probably think I'm that ugly guy right above.
Oh, yeah, you got it backwards.
I got it backwards. But the names are right. So my top 10, I'm just going to do this real quick. I got Kyle Whittingham at 10, Lane Kiffin at 9, Steve Sarkisian at 8, Dan Lannon at 7, Keelan DeBoer at 6, Mario at 5, Marcus at 4, Kurt at 3, Ryan Day at 2, Kirby at 1. I don't know why I'm reading this out loud. We're not doing this on a podcast.
Yeah.
You can see it on the screen. Let's start here. I was kind of shocked. And I kind of happy because I felt like some of this list, I seen some names and I was like, you know what? Austin does actually listen to me. I hope I say his name right.
Kalani
Sitake. Yeah. Number 10. I had him number 12, which is the reason we didn't talk about him because I knew he was in Austin's top 10.
Yeah.
Number 10. Talk about I love it. I love it.
Look, he is a definite what have you gotten out of what you have available, right? I mean, just the restrictions that you have at BYU. And, I mean, dude, they're just there every single – I mean, they're just what word am I trying to say right now? Consistently. Thank you. I was trying to say conservative, but they're just consistently right there. And doesn't matter. You know, they had the quarterback issue last year where he went out and, you know, did some things you can't do at BYU. And had to replace that, and everybody just thought that was the end of it. And then here they come again, playing
Nasty.
playing for a Big 12 title.
I think it was in the playoff race like 2 years in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think to be able to do that at a place like BYU, I think he's right where he should be.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And to be quite frank, I had him at 12. I had him at the 12th ranked coach. I wanted to actually put him at 10. If Whittingham hadn't gone to Michigan, Pop's ass, would he still have him at 10? Yeah, I think so. Look, none of us are perfect humans, right? And I think sometimes I can have a bias towards certain coaches I like. Try really hard not to do it when we're doing a list, but no, I think I would still have him there because I think Kyle Whittingham, the consistency he's had over the span of his career, 177 and 88. I just think he's consistently been a really good coach at a place in Utah that I don't think have the resources that others have. I do think he's going to do a better job at Michigan. Yeah, so that was my number 10. There was another one we were supposed to talk about that we did not have. Let's see. No, it was Kyle. What was your reason? You had him what? Kyle, you had Kyle.
I had him at like 11. I think I had him at 11. Okay. Just outside.
Yeah, which I don't hate.
Yeah, I mean, just outside. I think Kyle Whittingham's a great coach. I'm worried about how far along he is in his career.
Yeah.
Taking over a program like Michigan. I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be a lot more. It feels lazy to say it this way, but just a lot more to deal with at a place like Michigan than what he had to deal with at Utah. A lot more politicking, a lot more just recruiting with the big dogs, So I hope that he has enough left in the tank to give it 4 or 5 hard years. Let's see what you can do.
Yeah.
He's got the boys playing free. We'll talk about that next week. I know they had some fun at the spring game. Did you see the behind the back pass by Bryce Underwood?
Yes.
Look, that was all fun and games. You're not going to do that in a game. I get that, but for me, that says, hey, he's got him playing, free and letting him go. But anyhow, I hope he has enough in the tank to reach his ceiling at Michigan, because I think it could be, as bad as I hate to say it, the Big Ten could be fun over the next couple of years. I know.
Right, let's get to let's
dude. The Big Ten's gonna be great, and so is Florida. You're literally going through your college football hell right now.
Yeah, there's not enough medicine in the world to solve that for me. Let's piss some people off.
Let's do it.
People off. You have Lane Kiffin as the 5th best coach in college football. I have him at 9th. I totally prepared. I wrote extensive notes, but now I'm gonna ignore them. I totally prepared to come in this thing and lead the Lane Kiffin discussion. And then you sent me your list, and I was driving. I shouldn't have been looking at it while I was driving. I did. Sue me. And I almost wrecked because I seen Lane at 5. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let you do it.
All right. So two things led to appreciate the update on the score, Coach. We got it. 2 things led to that ranking. Okay. One of them I'm proud of. One of them I'm not proud that I did it, but I did it. And sue me. Okay. The first one is exactly what I said in the beginning of the show, is what he's done lately with what he has, with the resources. He turned Ole Miss, which anybody who's watched football longer than 5 years knows, Ole Miss just is not competitive and, at the top level. The SEC's always had a top level, a mid level, and a bottom level. And Ole Miss has always been a upper bottom to lower mid, right? Now they're upper mid to lower top,
no,
if not
I would
top.
say no. I would say they're top. If you look at the last 5 years, they're the
He's
third.
kicked your ass several times.
Well, no. I'm also saying, like, if you look at the last 5 years, they're third in the SEC in wins behind only Georgia and Alabama.
No,
that's over LSU, over Florida, over Tennessee. No, I'm getting aggravated at people that I'm gonna hear yell at us on TikTok.
Yeah,
but anyway, go ahead.
It's fine. It's fine. But no, so you're right. So he's moved them from there to the top echelon, right? Great. That's what I'm proud of. That was part of what led to the ranking. The second part that led to the ranking is the part I'm not proud of, because this is what I like to do, is looking ahead at what I think he's about to do at LSU. Okay. I like what he's put together at LSU. I think he's got a hell of a staff. And I think he's about to do great things. Now he may be like Kyle Whittingham and not do great things, and then it's like, all right, what I think about him now. But I will say, I'll throw this out there. You know, we talked about guys that we thought could move up in a list. Kiffin could move down the list very quickly if he's not successful at LSU.
Oh, I have high expectations for LSU this upcoming year, and if they don't reach it, he'll move out of the top 10.
He doesn't even get, like, I'm giving John Summerall a year.
Yeah.
Before he could go 6-6 next year, and I'm still not giving up on him. Kiffin doesn't get that luxury. I'm not saying he's got to win a natty, but you better be competitive.
I love Lane as a coach. I'm not a big fan of him as a person, despite people think I'm his, I can't say the word on here, a YouTube diva, as I've been accused of being on TikTok. But listen, because I don't like Lane as a person, and because how he kind of left Ole Miss, and because of the money that LSU has poured into this, no, buddy, there is no patience like you've been asking. You got to get it done this year, or I'm going to beat your ass right out of this top 10.
Absolutely.
But yeah, all right, let's do we're gonna go a little bit over an hour. I can already feel it, but let's quickly Steve Sarkisian and Dan Lannon conversation. Let's have that. I had Steve Sarkisian at 8 and Dan Lannon at the 7th best coach in the country. You did kind of the same thing, but just a little bit low. You had Steve 7, Dan 6.
Yep.
For me personally, I think Sarkisian being a little bit more competitive in the playoffs probably should have put him higher than Dan Lannon, because Dan Lannon has got blown out 2 times in the playoffs. But I would push back a little bit on that and say Dan Lannon got blown out by both national champions, Ohio State and Indiana. I'm kind of going to give him a pass on that. And I'll be honest, them two was so neck and neck. I did who would I rather hire?
Yeah.
And to me, it was Dan Lannon.
I agree with that. And I would also, you're right. I mean, they have been competitive in the playoffs. But for me, maybe it's because we're in the South. And unless you're talking to Pops, you're hearing how great Texas is and how great Texas is going to be. And, you know, they're going to be national champions. And, you hear that some on Oregon, but it just doesn't have the same, firepower as it does when people start talking about Texas. So it just feels like, again, talking about what you've done with what your potential is or what you have, it just feels like Sarkisian just hasn't got there.
And he hasn't, and Dan Lannon's done something that Sarkisian hasn't. And you can't tell me, I'm sorry, we both love the SEC. You can't tell me it's because the SEC's better. No, actually, the Big Ten's better. And Dan Lannon's won the Big Ten championship, and Sarkisian hasn't won a SEC championship. And Dan Lannon did it his first year. So let's have and I'm not trying to move fast, but I know Austin.
No, we got to go.
Austin's old. He's got to get to bed. Let's have the DeBoer conversation real quick. I obviously got pushback on it, and I did not put this comment up because I wanted to wait until we had this talk. But Jamal brought up a good point. I feel like Keelan is at 6 is high, but when you see his record versus top-tier ranked teams, and it's so confusing. So for me, I do feel like if we're going to pick somebody out of the top 10 that can move out, After this year, it could be DeBoer. My Austin has DeBoer at 9, so he's right there at the edge.
Mm-hmm.
I have him at 6. I would hear the argument that I have him too high. I would actually agree. If I'm hiring somebody, I would hire Dan Lannon before him. I would hire Lane Kiffin before him. So that's just my opinion. But I put DeBoer there because that 5-year criteria, Washington time still exists in that 5-year window. What he did at Washington, it just seems like everybody forgets. He took that team to the national championship. Hasn't, I don't think, been in the national conversation for decades. And that was still impressive to me. His first year wasn't great. And as bad as the year ended last year for Bama, it was bad. We can all admit that. We can all be adults. It was not good. It was very – Ty Simpson regressed. Run game was bad. Offensive line was bad. It just did not look good. Got booty blasted by Indiana. It just did not end on the right note. As Austin said multiple times on this show, he still made the playoffs. And he did beat Oklahoma. And I think like Pops had brought – he is recruiting really well. I just don't think he's a good fit. I think he's a great coach. I think he's going to be a great coach if it doesn't work at Bama. I think he'll move on, probably USC, and be phenomenal there. And he'll be right back in the conversation if he was to jump out. I don't know, man. I feel like people are only looking at this year and last year and ignoring the rest of his, last couple of years before.
Yeah. No, I agree. Look, DeBoer's a great coach, and I still have high hopes for him at Bama. There's a lot of things that I disagree with, but one thing I love to see, and we'll talk about this next week a little bit more, is everybody knows the O-line last year was the biggest problem. Well, instead of saying, well, we're going to try to do this, no, he went and replaced every one of them. So, I love to see somebody that just doesn't sit back and, you don't have the right guys and you just hope they get better. He went out and did something about it. So, again, I still have hopes for him. And to answer Pops' comment there, I don't know that any coach would be a good fit. I went down. I talked to Chris about this yesterday on the phone. I went down the list and I took out. I wanted to go down the list as a Bama fan, and who would I want as my head coach? Mm-hmm. And out of that list, just nobody I could find. Outside of we'll take away Kirby because that's
unrealistic.
Out of the top 4. Yeah. We'll take them out because those are unrealistic. But out of everybody else, outside of Sean Summerall, I would love to have had him at Bama. But outside of that, I don't know that anybody was the right fit.
Yeah, the guy after the guy.
He's the guy after the guy. Maybe Dan Lanning has the attitude to come in and might have taken it. But anyhow. But that's just what I mean is I don't know that anybody would have been.
Yeah. Speaking, you have Mario as the eighth best coach. I have him 5th.
Yeah.
Am I a prisoner of the moment? I feel like I am.
So I did the opposite of that and forced myself not to become a prisoner of the moment. Okay?
I'm a prisoner of the moment.
So I think I think he did a hell of a coaching job last year. I do. It was the second best coaching job in the country.
Yeah. That playoff run, though, man,
that playoff run was
elite.
It was elite. I agree with you. There's still all those question marks that hang on. What I want to see out of Mario.
One more year.
Well, yeah, because now guess what? You're not under the radar. Now everybody's saying, oh shit, Miami went to the national championship last year, and then what they've added, what they picked up, now you're on top of of everybody's radar, and now I want to see what he does.
Yeah,
and what's sad, most coaches you're like, well, you have this team, you should win. Well, with Mario, that's when I'm worried about it because that's when he's that's when he's prone to lose, is when he's supposed to win.
Yeah.
So if he wins this year, and I'm not saying he's got to win a national championship, but, make a playoff run, he'll move in the top 5.
All right, we're going to end the show on 2 things. We can't leave without the discussion of Austin. You had Marcus Freeman as the 3rd best coach in the country. I had him 4th, and you had Ryan Day 4th. Let's lump that together real quick.
All right. Here's my reasoning behind this, and listen, we talked about this when you talk to fans, you would think I put Ryan Day at 27th.
Yes,
and he was off the list, right? He's still the 4th best coach in the country, in my opinion. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'll give you a couple reasons. Obviously, he has the national championships, right? You know what won me over Marcus Freeman? Why I put him ahead? Last season, and he didn't even make the playoffs. I think that was one of his best coaching jobs ever. Why? Because they got popped in the mouth in the beginning of the season. You lost 2 straight games. I don't care what your schedule is, to run the tables and win 10 straight games after you lost 2 games and keep your team engaged like that. I think, they got, I don't want to say screwed by the system, because they shouldn't have been in. They lost 2 games. They lost to 2 teams that got into the playoffs that should have been in over them. You lost to them. So that being said, I love Marcus Freeman.
Oh,
yeah. I do. What gave him the edge over Ryan Day for me, and I shouldn't have done this, but I did it, was when Ryan Day had to take over the offense at Ohio State. And look, there's a lot of coaches on this list that couldn't run their team's offense, but damn it, you tried and you failed. So that's what gave me the edge for Freeman over Ryan Day.
I don't hate it. I disagree, but I don't hate it. I honestly don't hate. Well, you almost talked me into it, to be quite frank. Georgia baseball just sucks. They suck. But yeah, I love Marcus Freeman too. Listen, Marcus Freeman has took Notre Dame to heights that we did not think was possible. And if you did, you're lying. Because what Brian Kelly did at Notre Dame, we all thought that was the pinnacle of Notre Dame in the new era, or not the new era, but in college football, because Notre Dame was so tough to win at after the 80s and 90s. Like it become a program where, and I hate to say this, where school was taken seriously. You are an actual student athlete at Notre Dame. The admissions are extremely hard. You couldn't portal like you can at other places. And we always thought Brian Kelly was this phenomenal coach because what he did at Notre Dame we thought was the ceiling. Marcus Freeman is showing that's not the case.
Yep.
Dude's recruiting at a Kirby Smart, Mario Cristobal, name your coach level. Like, he had a top 5 class. I remember conversations we had about Brian Kelly that we were like, hey, he's doing pretty good. Like, yeah, he don't recruit top 5, but that's because you can't at Notre Dame. So, yeah, I'm with you. Marcus Freeman, and that's why I have Marcus Freeman as a top 5 coach. Dude is legit. I will go as far as to say it's a matter of when, not if, on Marcus Freeman winning the national championship. All right, quickly, let's end on this. We did not put Kurt Cincinnati number 1.
Yep.
We have Kirby. We're not going to go into that. We know why we have Kirby number 1. We're not going to do that. But I did get a lot on TikTok, Kurt Cincinnati, and I can't end the show without that. We'll end it right there. Kurt Cincinnati is 2 for you. Kurt Cincinnati's 3 for me. You want me to go or you?
You can take it.
For me, listen, people on TikTok acted like, just like you said about Ryan Day, they acted like I had him 26. I had a guy giving me pure hell in the TikTok chat, and I'm like, I have him at 3, my guy. Like, he's elite. His coaching job last year, I feel like this is not bold to say at all, was the greatest coaching job in the history of college football, and it will never be duplicated. As we will never have another guy who had a better coaching job. I know this is crazy to say after they won the national championship. Next year he'll probably be number 1 if they make the playoffs again. I just want to see it one more time. I just want to see, not national championship. That's stupid. I just want to see one more. If he makes the playoffs, I'm probably going to jump him number 1. But also, people that's going to get mad at me, if you want to tell me Kurt Cincinnati's the best coach in college football, I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm probably going to go, you're probably right. To me, 1, 2, and 3 are so interchangeable. I won't fight you. I'm not going to fight you. So when I clip this on TikTok, come at me all day. I'm not going to argue with you because, quite frankly, I think Kurt Connecticut is absolutely could be the best coach in college football. So, all right. We got to get to bed. Jamal asked a question, but we're going to head to bed. We'll save it for next week. And it for some reason, it posted weird. All right, guys. Man, I feel like we did pretty good.
Yeah, it was a fun show.
Fun show. We'll be back next week. Spring wrap up. We talk ball. Tune in Monday. I think veterans voice. I cannot talk. The veterans show will be Monday, and then Jamal usual Wednesday. And all the other stuff. Chasing Omaha. We'll all be back next week. Everybody have a great night, and we'll check you out next week.